Time is a cruel abstract concept. Time defines the life of a game and the ever-nearing death of one. Some games survive, while others fade into the emptiness of what was once a good memory one late night. All games have their face games, their models and mascots which encapsulate the entirety of a game's character. Games like CSGO's Mirage or Valorant's Ascent or even Overwatch's King's Row. Each game has an icon. That isn't always exactly the most famous map, but it still stands as one of the titans of the game's map pool. Team Fortress 2 is no different. It may have its icon as 2 Fort or even Hightower, but a lot of people forget where it all began. Where a lot of players took their first steps or the place that first drew us to Team Fortress 2 in the early beginning. That brings us to Upward. Upward, as we know, is home to almost every single possible stereotype, favorite aspect of a map, and craved gameplay feeling that every player dreams of experiencing. Today, I'm gonna talk about Upward, its history, its present, the exploits, and why the map was hated and loved. Upward is a payload map included with the Engineer update as an official Valve developed map. It is the first official payload map to be developed and released since the Heavy update as well. Featuring plenty of different developments since its release, the map has changed significantly, adding different locations, health kits, and small fixes in certain spots. Unfortunately, it has been quite difficult to find pictures of old Upward, but these were the areas that I assume were affected by those updates and changes. Aside from those notable changes, not much has ever changed the map since then. Upward received a Halloween reskin in the 2020 Scream Fortress update and has yet received a lot of attention for other reskins in the community workshop, boasting a large community of lovers and content creators that share similar sentiments and a long ingrained reputation in the community as one of the game's giants. It's no surprise that Upward has gained a lot of recognition for its features, wonders, and the adventure that unfolds when you play it. Present-day Upward is home to the same sentry spots, classic sniper angles, and a lot less exploits, but a larger community. Sure, as a player that has thought their home game would die after a certain point, it's always nice to see TF2 beam with larger amounts of people to play with. The days where I'd recognize the same faces despite a wide variety of servers and maps played seem to be gone behind us. And now, joining a map never really feels the same. It always feels unique and new, something that Team Fortress 2 will always be. Upward's unique design of a spiraling map instead of a linear A to B point provides a very unique style for a map, creating the illusion of a very long and gigantic map, but in reality, exists on a small mountain with a crater in the middle. Upward's massive size can be attributed to how open it is, how the map never fails to make its players feel so immersed, yet so free. The tall walls to border off sections of the map, the high buildings, long ramps for soldiers to boost off of. It's a map that essentially captures the entire essence of the entire game itself. You can find players that struggle to make their way around the map, and some players that find new routes to outplay their opponents off of. Upward is big, but it's also small. So technically, Upward may just have everything you may really need to make you enjoy the classic Team Fortress 2 experience. Upward was exploited. A lot of the map's bugs, features, and secret spots have fed into the deep long history that was and still is Upward. Although a lot of these are patched, these exploits played a large role into how Upward was treated back in the day. There used to be a teleporter spot right here that could force your enemies to get trapped, and unless they knew how or when to use the killbind, they just have to leave or hope they'd get killed by an enemy. These tunnels had a lot of issues. You used to be able to clip into one of these surfaces, rendering you stuck. Although I never actually understood why this happened, It seems to have been patched, but the community still remembers the days when it was still an issue. Killing people before the spawn gates open was also and continued to be a consistent thing throughout the course of Upward's life. Being a map with a lot of overlapping locations and possible holes, it's no surprise that players tend to easily find exploitable spots that cause issues for other players around. These cliffs also had a fair share of mischief. Standing on different ledges and pixels, you could easily find some really strange spots on this map that no one would ever dare to check. But they're pretty cool nonetheless. As it is a common theme amongst all maps, it must be discussed how the casual players versus committed players view maps. Don't get me wrong, casual players and committed players are both players that are excellent at the map. It doesn't matter how well you get kills or at what frequency because skill and being good is inherently subjective depending on who you ask. With that being said, people dislike Upward for its difficulty when stalemates occur. As with all payload maps, there are certain points that seem impossible to break through up until the godforsaken pub push. Consistent multiple sentry spots, wide sight lines, easily accessible spawn doors, and plenty of health packs, it kinda makes sense why people would dislike the difficulty of pushing around Upward. People also dislike the possibilities of getting pushed off the map. But honestly, sometimes falling off the map could even be an issue for everyone, even me. I've played this map for years and I still find ways to fall down the hole. I think the biggest unique reason for Upward hate is that it's genuinely difficult to find ways to push in. Without a proper Uber, map control in certain areas, and the pace of the game, all these factors play into why Upward is so hard and what it continues to be. An infinite upward battle that eventually leads to a win. The endless love and support that Upward experiences is a testament to the game itself. When the world around us has gone through so many changes, Team Fortress 2 remains the same. This map is consistent. As with every other map in Team Fortress 2 arsenal, each player loves them. These maps are appreciated for its never-changing aspects and authenticity despite the never-ending clock that is time. But what's to love about Upward? Well, it's a bit of everything, isn't it? You get the most genuine, real, authentic Team Fortress 2 experience at the convenience of a popular and consistently populated map. Its availability and fame that have brought its life to infinite ends. On Upward, you find players slowly evolving and becoming better, experiencing what it's like to play Team Fortress 2 for the first time, while you also get players that have played the game since the beginning. Each individual route or path in this game has an inherent alternative that expands and encourages its players to think creatively, to play more, and to be better no matter how hard it may get. You also get areas in the map that require more teamwork, or for someone to step up and be that teamwork for their team, to be able to push forward. Upward is essentially everything, but still more than what a lot of maps try to be. Upward has frag movie potential, SFM-like scenery, and some of the most iconic spots that the game would never forget. Upward is definitely one of the titans of Team Fortress 2, as it had stood the test of time, that other maps have failed to do so.